Hello, Mr. De Vrijer. This is Radu Soviani from Money TV. I have some questions for you. First of all, you said that some targets were missed. If you can emphasize a little bit, and I'm especially interested in the deficit target for 2012. This is the first question. The second question is about if there are any prior actions since that we have to do till the review. And I have another question about CFR Marfa, if it was the government intention to restart the privatization or if it was your request. And I'm curious, why is not the European Commission here? Thank you.
Okay, let me take them one by one. The targets that were missed were the cash deficit target for 2012, the targets on arrears of central and local governments, and the target on the NFA of the net foreign assets of the central bank. I will sort of explain all three. The target that was met on the deficit is the most important one, which is the European definition of the deficit based on sort of commitments. So that is estimated now to be below 3% as planned. That is actually the most important deficit target, so that one was met. Now, because these data come in with delay, the IMF program is based on deficit numbers on a cash basis, so money that comes in and money that goes out, that comes available around the 25th of after the month, of the next month, right? In the 25th of, let's say, January, you know the December outcome. So, because that becomes available sooner, we have based our budget on that. And that target was missed mainly because, as you know, EU fund disbursements were suspended last year on projects and programs where the Romanian audit authority discovered irregularities. And once these problems were resolved, the authorities could send in their bills to Brussels, which they did around the middle of December. But the payment has not arrived in December, will come in February or March, and so therefore they missed that target. So we look at that not as a sort of, missing the target because of a wrong fiscal policy or too loose fiscal policy, but just because of a technical delay in receiving some payments. The target on the arrears, for the central government it's a very small amount, for local government it is more. Those are very stubborn to get down, and so we agreed on prior actions, sort of measures to reduce these arrears before we can complete the review. So those are already two prior actions on central and local government arrears. These are so important because that really disrupts not paying your bills, really disrupts the economic chain. Because if you don't pay your suppliers, then your suppliers cannot pay their suppliers, and so on it goes. And it's important, especially because these amounts are manageable, that the government establish itself as a fully creditworthy, trustworthy buyer and pays its bills on time, just like it pays its wages and pensions on time. Marfa has been sort of a topic of discussion between us and the Commission and the World Bank and the government. And as it became clear that Marfa was not really performing and functioning very well and made losses in 2012 that would not be sort of turned around in 2013 and has arrears. In the end, the government came to the inevitable conclusion, in our view, that the best thing to do is to sell it to a strategic investor, meaning somebody who will take the company and actually develop it as the best solution. So this is a process that will take some time, because you need, if you want to have a serious investor, you need to give the investor time to look at the state of the company, do due diligence, and also because the company has large debts, you need to find a solution for these debts, which you have to discuss with the European Commission, because that is a form of state aid. But if you privatize the company, I understand that issue can be resolved. So what we have agreed upon is that the winning bidder for Marfa will be selected, and the purchase agreement will be initialed before we complete the review. The other prior action has to do with Transgas, the initial public offering of, I think it's 15% of the shares of Transgas, which we already had agreed upon in the last review, but was delayed, and that is now going to be done before the review. It's important to prepare Transgas well for if there are large sort of gas deposits put into exploitation. And since the country has reserves and potential reserves, it's important to sort of gear up the company before this happens. Finally, we had agreed last time to open up the capital of Altenia, also for private participation. And a prior action will be to sign the contract with a transaction advisor to do that for an IPO of Altenia. Altenia is a potentially very good company. It's large. It's important for the energy security of the country, because hydroelectrica produces a lot of energy, but if there is no water, then they're stuck. So Altenia needs to be able to fill the gap, and for that it's important to sort of involve the private sector and make sure that the necessary large investments that are needed to make this company a success can be mobilized. On the Commission, you will have to ask them. Thanks.
Okay. I have an additional question, if you allow me. The agreement now is on the track or off the track, please?
The government is taking corrective actions to achieve the objectives of the program. And they need a little bit more time to do that. So we agree, because we think that they are serious, and we certainly hope they will do what they say, that we should give them the time to actually implement it. So at the moment you cannot really say either way.